Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today, I was thinking that I'm gonna try and go through the songs that compete in the Albanian national final in, well, 2022, but for the year 2023, because the songs are out. I'm sure you already know that. The only thing is that they will pick a song on, well, it's this week. I know that's for sure, and the songs got released this week. So I was thinking I'd like to review all of the songs, but there would be no time for me to make actual videos, editing, rendering in just that short amount of days. So there will be no reviews for these songs, but I figured I still kind of have to talk about them because it's a national final. So that's what I'm going to do today. There are 26 songs. I have listened to all of them a few times. I think most of this is just going to be based on my kind of first impressions of the songs because we haven't really gotten allowed to really get used to the songs yet. But I definitely have some favorites and some songs that I do not care for. And I'll tell you what I think of the songs. I have 5 categories. The winner, winner, chicken dinner is for my absolute favorite song. I'm only allowed to put one song in there, I'd say. Great alternative. Other songs that I think would be great choices for Albania if they went with them. Enjoyable songs, maybe not songs that I would particularly like them to send, but still enjoyable. Songs that I find alright, so not much to say about that one. And then songs that I don't really like, they're simply not for me. In the bottom category, 26 songs, and to make it kind of easier for myself and maybe easier for a lot of you out there as well, I've written the song titles. I hope they're all correct. On each photo so we can kind of distinguish them from each other, because I get confused when it's a language that I'm not very familiar with, you know. And there's a lot of songs just kind of that you've gotten used to, so I have some notes as well that I will use when I kind of talk about these songs. Some of them left greater impressions than others, let's just say that. And also what I've noticed today is that 5 of the songs are already eliminated. I didn't even know that that's a thing, but apparently 5 of the songs are no longer participating because they got knocked out for whatever reason, I guess juries or something. So I figured we should start with those. And I think the first one that I just saw was knocked out was this one called Mali. And Mali, this one actually kind of left an impression on me the first time I heard it. I thought there was like an authentic atmosphere in it. It's a very, typical song for its own kind of culture and identity, I think. There's these pads in the opening with the guitar picking, which sounds great. I love this rhythm that the chorus just has. It's a nicely sung hook to the song, which really just works well with the instrumental as well. I think maybe a little bit of a downfall on this song is probably the charisma on stage, which is pretty much non-existent. It's not a performance as much as it is just an enjoyable song to me. I think this smooth melody that the chorus has and just this kind of palpable instrumental is really the strengths of the song. And I'm a big fan of these moments, but the overarching structure, I guess, could use a little bit of work in transitions and smoothness, but as an overall package, I think it's pretty great. Obviously it can't be a great alternative for Albania because it's knocked out, but I would consider it to have been a potential great alternative. I'm a bit pissed off that it actually went out already. It's not like it's my favorite song ever, but I think it's, it's fine, and I quite enjoy it actually. Performance-wise, not so great, but the song is there, absolutely, for me at least. Another one that went out was this one, Para Teje. And I'm kind of I think there's a smooth kind of tone throughout this song, which is just really enjoyable. It's a very laid-back song, very relaxing. I like the sound of the guitar in this song. It's kind of suggestive in its tone, and it kind of accompanies a bit of a storytelling-esque type of vocal style, which is quite nice. There's a nice kind of continuation of growing in the instrumentation here, strings, piano, but maybe it takes a little too long to actually utilize these parts in a strong manner. Laid back is a strong thing, but it can't be too laid back, and maybe that's a little bit of what this song is. It never really goes anywhere, and I guess that kind of just drags it down a lot, honestly. Before I just place it though, I have to say the trumpet at the end, I really, really like that part. It sounds actually amazing, so I'm gonna boost it up to enjoyable because I just really like listening to that part at the end. But as an overall package of the song, I think it's mostly just all right. But that trumpet at the end just pushes it up a little bit. Another one that got knocked out is this one, Jetten Tafal, which is a ballad. It's kind of dramatic. Like the opening is really dramatic of this song. The vocal is really isolated in the opening, which I like. But maybe the song isn't too melodically engaging, at least in the verses. I think that's a main flaw. The verses isn't really that great. I think the chorus has a nice chord progression, but it's not really enough to really just elevate it. Cohesion a bit lacking. I think there's an abrupt closure to this song. Like it just ends quite abruptly. It's all right. It's quite enjoyable. Like at parts, I think but it's not something that I'd really take with me and just remember. I think there are other ballads in this selection which I think are much stronger. So I'll have to put it down here. I was about to say that it's gonna get some company from another song that got knocked out, but I think I'll actually have to place this one in the not for me category. There's Phobia. I think, like, here's the thing. I think there are strengths in this song. I kind of like the approach that they're going for. I think it's charming. It sounds unlike any of the other songs in that participated. But I think that this section in the middle where the rhythm changes up, I mean, it's nice to have like a rhythm switch, but they kind of just drop the ball during this section because I think the vocals sound really poor during this segment. It feels a bit out of place, especially when you kind of have like a smooth little backing track going for you and then you swap it out for something that doesn't really click. Then it's just kind of you lose me as a listener and as an audience. And I think maybe this song is more fit to be like in, you know, this little more small spaced, dim lit bar type of area. I could see myself listening to a song like this if you remove the rhythm switch section. But yeah, it's not for me. It's too many things that I don't really like. I guess the vocals kind of lack a quality as well that just sets it back a little bit. I think this one should get some what do you call it? Some company though by the fifth and final song that didn't go through, which is called Sonte Duate Gemeti, which, you know, it's competent. It's a competent song, I'd say, but that's really all it is. It doesn't really leave an impression on me, unfortunately. I don't think it's that interesting. There is a guitar in the song, which I think sounds quite nice. There's, you know, some nice chords here and there. I think the chord intervals in this song is actually quite great. But the song as an overall package and just the arrangement of it is not just really something that I'd latch onto. I think the song is very uninteresting in that way. It's an uninspired instrumentation. Just doesn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. And even though you've got some nice chord intervals and a nice melody that works with it, it's not really enough for me to really get into it. So I'll put it down here as well. And those are the 5 songs that have been knocked out. If I'm not mistaken, at least I've gone to the website Eurovision World to check this out, which is a really helpful website when I'm trying to learn things about national finals. Enough of the almost sponsorship that I get no payment for. We'll go into the songs that are actually still in the running to represent Albania, and one song that I don't think they should pick is the song called Melody, which is my least favorite song in the entire selection because this is just, it's not for me. Simple as that. It's harmless, I'd say, like a little pleasant tone to it, but it's very repetitive. It's kind of unimaginative. Then you have like this rapper guy who comes into the song, which, I mean, it's for your subjective taste if you think that's a strength or not. I actually think it is a strength because it adds a bit of variation to this song, which it otherwise would not have. That's not to say that I particularly enjoy the verse where the rapping is, but at least it's some variation to a song, which I think is just completely lacking of any creative ideas, unfortunately. It feels like the feeling that the song kind of transmits is you jump around in a field of daisies, but I'm too clumsy and I would fall on my own feet thinking of this song because it's too jolly and too no, not for me. Simple as that. It's gonna get some more company here by Je, or Je. I'll put the Je here because Melody is by far my least favorite song. Je is just kind of flat, stale, not too interesting. There's like this instrumental soundstage of the song, which is actually kind of nice, but as the song progresses, it just doesn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. The vocal style or approach is just not for me. I don't particularly like it. I think a song like this would benefit from a more brighter vocal with more clarity to it. In this case, it's just something that doesn't click with me, and I can't really remember anything about the song in particular. It's melodically not very interesting. Soundstage is alright, but it just kind of loses all of its impact with the vocal style for me personally, so not a fan. We'll move on to Emri Yt Miresi, which is my next song on the list. I've kind of got like a cheat list of where I would put all of the songs in kind of some type of order. And you know what? I do love me some accordion, which this song features. I think there's also like a nice touch in this song. There's like this pulsating heartbeat in the percussion, which I think is quite nice. It's a nice little touch. Vocal performance is a bit interesting, but I think what's really lacking here is like a charisma from the vocalist. There's none of that. Kind of get lost into the song, doesn't really go anywhere, doesn't really challenge anything. I think maybe the main strength of the song is actually the drumming throughout. I've already mentioned the heartbeat type of percussion, but there's also like a lot of playfulness with the drumming as the song progresses as well, which I think is quite nice. So I think that would be the strength of the song, actually. I think actually, yeah, I won't be too harsh. I think this is alright, but it's less alright than Jetten Tafal, in my opinion. But I'm not overly impressed by it, but it's fine. It's fine. Similar things well, maybe not similar in terms of what the song is like, but similar things that it's just fine can be said about Ayer, or Ayer, or yeah, I need to study some Albanian, I think, after this, because if I'm going to continue making Eurovision videos, I need to get used to pronouncing these names. But this is very unremarkable to me. I think there's like charm in this song. It's very pleasant and harmless, quite well performed in a way. I just don't think there's anything to latch onto here. Instrumentally, it's quite flat. Melodically, it's pleasant. Has a nice little input from the backing vocals, but altogether, I don't really think there's anything that makes it stand out that much up until the final minute. The final minute features a saxophone solo, which knocks it out of the park, which makes it quite enjoyable, honestly. But I kind of talk against myself here, because that's kind of my same reasoning for putting Parateje up here. But I think I get more enjoyment out of this type of music than I do from Ajer here. I think this one is quite flat and uninteresting throughout, which is kind of why I drag it down a little bit. It's still alright, and I do like the saxophone quite a lot. I'll put it down there, though. Another song that I would put down there is where is it? I can't find. There are so many songs. Here it is. Nie Gote. I'll put this one down here as well. I think like something that I've just really thought about when I listen to this song is the piano arrangement, which I quite like. But it sounds so much like what's his name? Ludovico Einaudi. I think that kind of just the arpeggio style of the piano is really reminiscent of that. I think it's a beautiful piano arrangement all throughout this song. But that's really the only thing that I think it has going for it. There are structural flaws in this song. It moves a bit slowly after a pretty tense first minute. And it's, it kind of, when it really goes somewhere, it's like this soft rock pop type of ballad, which is just, it's kind of charming, but it's a bit on the meh side. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really challenge anything. It relies solely on kind of being pleasant at the end. And I think the vocal performance is quite anonymous as well. It doesn't really make anything that stands out. I think the piano is really what shines in the song. And maybe that's not the main intention. I don't know. But it's still alright. I enjoy it for what it is, but not much more than that. I'll put same category. We're gonna stack this category a little bit because I think there are a lot of alright songs in the selection. The Veshtire song will be here. I like horns. I like when songs are upbeat and it's pleasantly uplifting. Like the vocal layering in the chorus, I think, just kind of the overall impact of it is really pleasant and puts me in a good mood. Verses are a bit on the like, what do you call it, like stale side. And it's not really, I don't think there's an overly convincing vocal tone in the song, but I like horns, and that's enough to make me think that it's alright. It's actually somewhat great, but I don't think it's that enjoyable. I still think it's a bit on the side. I kind of forget about it, but it's still, it's alright when it's on. That's what I'd say. Another song which I think is quite alright is, I can't find, here we go. Nejdo Hap. Definitely butchered that name, but I think this one actually has quite a lot of pleasant parts about it. I think the instrumentation is somewhat decent in this song. It takes a bit too long to kind of get going. There's like an uplifting tone in this song, and I think the guitar sounds great. The bass line works really well with the guitar in this song. The vocal style is a bit on the odd side. It got me a while to really get used to it, and I'm not sure if I particularly like it. But what I really think this song's strength is the final minute or so. Like the ending of the song, when everything comes together, makes the song feel really complete. And it sounds quite brilliant, actually, in the soundstage. I think it sounds great when everything comes together in this song. It's just that I don't particularly care for the maybe opening 2 minutes that much. So it's an alright experience. I really do like the ending, but that's really the main strength here, and I don't really particularly care too much for the rest of the song, unfortunately. I'm not sure though if I prefer. Let's just leave it like this. I can't order them too much. But we'll continue with the song that has an even more complex title to pronounce, Jisma e Semres Sime, which is also alright. I think this song has some of the least interesting verses I've heard, unfortunately. They do absolutely nothing for me. The thing is, though, that the chorus does a lot, actually. I think there's a melody in the chorus which kind of just works really well with how the orchestra joins in and how the vocal backing, like the backing vocal harmonies work with it. It's like a sense of comfort that I'm just being wrapped into during the chorus. And then the song goes back into the verse and I'm completely uninterested again. And then we go back to the chorus and I'm kind of hooked again. It just goes back and forth like that, which I think kind of just evens the song out and makes me think that it's all right. I like the sections that I like, and I completely dislike the sections that I don't care for. So it's a bit hit and miss, so I'll just even it out and put it in it's all right. But the chorus is really nice. It's quite lovely, actually. Shame the rest of the song didn't really match it, in my opinion, at least. We'll continue with another. I'm thinking soon I should probably move into the enjoyable category. Motit is the next song that I'd like to talk about, because this is also it's alright. I think it might actually be the peak of the it's alright songs if I think very hard about it. But yeah, this song is quite alright. It's a bit too theatrical for my taste, which I think is what really drags it down. It's very dramatic. Vocal delivery sounds a bit forced, in my opinion. Like it's kind of over the top. It's, while impressive, it doesn't really feel earned in this song. I don't think it's very carefully crafted to really kind of justify such grandness in both instrumental and definitely in vocal delivery. The grand instrumentation, it comes across a bit as like unjust, I think. It's not carefully introduced, but you just instead throw it into the song to make it sound grand and large and impressive, while in reality I don't really think the listener or audience is being taken on a journey leading into this grand kind of section of the song, which I think is where it kind of falls flat, I guess. Still alright, still competently put together in the sections that it has strengths in. I just feel like the cohesion of the song isn't really what I want it to be, so it's alright. Should we move up now? We're not quite going to do that, actually, because Nese Ke Besim is also just all right for me. It's nice to hear some solid rock music in any Eurovision context. I am actually screaming for it. But this one just doesn't quite do it for me, unfortunately. I'm a sucker for rock music, but it really has to be very well put together if I should really, really go for it. This one, I like how much energy there is in the song. There are sections in the song after the choruses where the drumming goes in double time, which I think are just brilliant. But as an overall package, I think the cohesion of the song is quite odd. Melodically, it's not interesting to me at all. I don't think it has a hook that really sticks to my head. That could be a me issue, but that's just the way I'm feeling about it. It's well played. It's somewhat well put together, but I don't really think there's anything about it that actually leaves an impact on me. The energy is there, the distorted guitars are there, and I appreciate that, but the melody isn't. Just how I feel about it. So yeah. Should we move up now? I think the next song I have on my list is Kosmosi I das Hurise, and this one is enjoyable. It's very dramatic, which I guess is a bit on the same side as Motit here. I think the guitar arrangement in this one is quite nice. The vocals are quite strong, and I think it kind of has similar issues to Motit actually, because I think the first like grand chorus just comes kind of out of nowhere. It's not really that deserved. Maybe I just think there's a different quality to the choruses of this song that makes me put it a little bit higher. I think that's probably what it is. It's more just kind of, what do you call it, like closer to my preferences, I guess. There's drama in this song, a lot of it, which is sometimes nice, sometimes not so nice. But I think it works in this type of song and in this type of context that it has. Of course, I'm a bit skeptical towards the just random throwing in of this grand chorus the first time around. But when you just kind of listen to the second half of the song, it feels complete and quite fulfilling. A bit of a like sometimes something that I'm a bit disappointed in. Actually, I'm actually gonna move it down. The more I think about it, there's like this hint of a guitar solo at the end. It just kind of leads into it and then it just kind of disappears. Very frustrating. I get that they want to add some variation, but you know, go all out with it. Actually frustrates me a little bit. I got a bit, it left some disappointment in me. I think it's well put together, and I think it's like the good sections of the song are good. But I have too many flaws with the song that I don't particularly care for, so I'll put it in It's Alright. I hope that's fine with all of you. Let's go into some enjoyable songs now, though. I have Makte, which is, again, a dramatic ballad, very dramatic one. Well sung. I do love me some drama, and this, you know, kind of fits the bill. Vocals sound great. Backing track matches this kind of melodrama that the song has. Love the strings section of the song that gives the song like this standout part, because there's like a different type of string instrument being used here. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know what the different instruments are called. But I think that really has like the standout part of the song, which actually gives its identity. It's quite a minimalistic song. Otherwise, I don't think it has that much, you know, energy and that much fulfillment in the instrumental, but the vocal delivery really just kind of makes it stand out, and I think the minimalism kind of works in its favor at times as well in this song, so it's enjoyable. I'll put it there. Yeah, let's move on. Douage, I think it's enjoyable as well. Let's put it above. Yeah, I'm not sure this song can be here. Uplifting, upbeat, fun. I have fun listening to it. I have fun watching it. Their only kind of approach that they've had is to make a fun song and fun performance, and they nailed it. It's very reminiscent of what you call in the Swedish context, it's very exotic, upbeat pop music from the mid 2000s. It sounds a lot like that, which is, you know, never an issue. I'm very welcoming towards this type of music, and I think it's a lot of fun. No complaints, just really enjoyable. And I think we kind of should continue on the trend with Stop. This is also enjoyable. Has a great hook, just memorable. It's very constant in its melody, which I guess could be a bit of a hit or miss. But for me, it's just really enjoyable. It's a hook that can really stick to your head if you're not careful. I actually quite like that, and I actually like the little ambition of the choreography on stage as well, to just kind of give it like a visual stamp as well, not just a melodic one. So it's enjoyable. Yeah, I don't have much to say about these songs, to be honest. There's like a toned down section in the second verse of this song that I'm not a fan of, but who cares, honestly. We'll move on to, I guess, what is a very divisive song, which is Atomike or Atomike. Not really a song that I care for all that much, in all honesty. It's very odd and this constant like breathing, but there's rhythmic playfulness. I mean, I kind of just have to admire that there's a creative input here. There is a purpose of everything that they do here. They've actually created a song where they've chopped up the song and actually decided that we want to have these parts in it. It's an ambitious kind of project, which I just have to enjoy and admire. Also, just like the whole stage layout, the performance they put together for it. It's just a project that I think a lot of effort has been put into, whether it's through sarcasm or whatever it is. I don't know the context, but it's a project that feels very fulfilling, and I think it's quite enjoyable. I don't really just roll my eyes and think, what is this mess? Because I assume some people would think that, and other people might think, oh, this is absolutely brilliant. And a bit in the middle, but I still do enjoy it. Yeah, and I think just everything that they put together here is quite strong. And, there's a very dramatic input in the instrumental, which I think is quite palpable, actually. And just this expression in the performance matches that. And I think it's a well-balanced piece of art, I guess you'd say. Like the performance is well-balanced, I'd say. Enjoyable, really enjoyable. Let's move into some great alternatives now. I think Bure, this is upbeat, tons of fun, memorable, great performance, great, everything's just kind of great. Not much more about it. Charismatic performance. The percussion is a bit repetitive throughout the song, but I couldn't really care less, in all honesty, because the beat is very upbeat. Melodically, it's quite fun. And there's a lot of attitude and just charisma into everything that's going on here. So great alternative. Not much more to say about it. I think a lot of people just agree that this is a pretty strong entry. I'd be surprised if people don't think that. Another song, a song that might not be as popular. I don't know. I haven't read into it. But Ne Priče is one that I have fun with. I think this is just really its own thing, and I'm quite fond of it. I get really dragged into it right from the get-go. I think there's like this smooth beat in the verses that I think is really intriguing, and then there's like a casual, very nod-friendly rhythm in the vocal, which I think is really inviting. And there's like a charismatic performance as well. It's a bit undertoned. I mean, if you compare it to the song we just talked about, for instance, but it's one of these performances where you kind of just get dragged into a more charming and laid-back feeling, I guess. And then you also have the horns, just wonderful. Lovely soundstage. I think it's tons of fun to listen to. There's also like this dynamic range between the verses and the chorus, and usually what that means is kind of like the verses are a bit on the meh side and the chorus is great, or vice versa. Here I think both sections are really great, and there's still a great dynamic between the two in how the instrumental picks up in different sections. Just a great show, great song, everything great. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Another song, well, we're getting into, I think these four are actually my standout favorites. I think Neden is the one that I would put last out of them. Powerful vocal performance, just great dramatic ballad. The opening minute, I think, is very convincing, both in vocal and a very detailed instrumental arrangement. Just works really well. It's well staged. and just has a lot of drive throughout this song. There's like this section, or well, not section because it's kind of repeated in the song. There's like these really digital hi-hats, which first time I heard them, I was really like kind of thrown off. Now I think they're a brilliant addition to the song. They sound so great in the soundstage that's otherwise so kind of authentic. I think it's a nice variation in instrumental approach because of it, and I'm actually really fond of it. I think it adds a lot of energy as well into these more hard-hitting, driving sections. Yeah, just a great package. Lot of attitude and a lot of just like a great punch into it. I think, and yeah, we'll move on. I've talked for 30 minutes already. We only have 3 songs left. All 3 of them are brilliant. Would be great choices for Albania, I think. Aroma Jote is my 3rd. I've actually made like a little ranking here at the end, I've noticed, but Aroma Jote I would put 3rd. I'll tell that. Carefully crafted, like the opening is very carefully put together. I love how the song kind of grows into the first chorus. It's a very just intimate and very seamless kind of journey leading into the first chorus, which I think is brilliant. I think there's a great focus in rhythm in the vocal melody, which is quite pleasant. It makes it stand out. It gives it something to really remember it by and really take in. And I think like with other really strong ballads in the selection, when everything comes together at the end, it's just one of these moments where I feel like, wow, this is very complete. It's very fulfilling. I get a lot of enjoyment out of just listening to this final part of the song, because I think in this case it's absolutely earned. Everything that has come together in this song has been carefully introduced throughout. And I think that's really where you lie the strength in having the first chorus the way that it is in this song. It's more toned down, it's more restrained. It leads smoother from the opening verse into the opening chorus, and that kind of just makes everything feel so much more earned at the end of the song. Beautifully crafted, fantastic vocal performance. I'm sure you all don't need to hear that from me, but it absolutely is. And another song that has a brilliant vocal performance is Duje. It doesn't only have one brilliant vocal performance, it has millions of them, because like the parts in this song where the whole like kind of choir comes in and they sing in harmonies, it's fantastic. I think this song just would be so great to actually send, because there's an instant attention grabber at the opening. I think it just really sets the tone perfectly for what the rest of the song is going to be all about. You kind of want to follow along every turn that this song takes, and I think that's really intriguing. Great attitude throughout the song. Kind of like the rhythms throughout the song kind of playfully accompany where the song is going, like the progression of it. I think the vocal arrangement overall is fantastic, especially when the backing vocals come in and the harmonies really join in. Kind of what I really think like the song's strength is, still the vocal side of things is really impressive, but the instrumental is almost even more impressive. I think the song really gives off the impression that it's a storytelling type of song, instrumentally. A lot of songs, this song could be about anything. I don't know, I haven't read into it. It doesn't really matter, because the instrumental paints a story in the song, I think. It takes you on turns, it ascends, descends, has a nice progression throughout it, and kind of just really paints a story on its own. I'm sure the vocals are kind of aligned with what the song, like with what the instrumental is trying to convey. But you just have these chaotic string arrangement, and then you have these more mellow, toned down, like other segments of the song are contrasted really nicely by the more chaotic sections. And I think it's dynamically very intriguing in that case. I would actually really love for Albania to choose this one. But of course, I would also really love them to choose Evita, which is just ballad perfection, I think. The chord progression in this song is brilliant. Right from the get-go, I'm just intrigued by where this song actually wants to go. It feels very classical in that sense. It's very passionately both performed and written. I think like the opening is just filled with so much passion, and not only like the vocal performance, just the way that the instrumental is written as well. The piano works really, really well in this song. I think it really sets the tone very beautifully. Piano arrangement, just wonderful. I think mainly like how the song grows is actually down to the vocal. The vocal is very constant in this song, and it carries a lot of the importance in this song. Good thing you have a pretty solid vocalist to deliver that. And I think kind of this one goes kind of hand in hand with Duje, but this is not the same type of song. But it also has an instrumental which really takes you on turns. There's like sections where you kind of feel sheltered into some type of comfort, and then you have distorted guitars, you have engaging drumming. I'm just getting shivers thinking about it. But there's like a playfulness of the structure in this song, which I think is really hard-hitting and very tangible. And it kind of keeps me on the edge of my seat constantly. Use of dynamics really kind of just take you on a ride between comfort and then chaos and back again. It's just flawless in that case. Lovely songwriting, so much care being put into it. And I think also just listen to that ending when like this kind of melody that takes over kind of ignites a spark of hope into something that has been so chaotic and melodramatic. Just beautifully put together and brilliant songwriting. And that was 26 songs from Albania in their national final for Eurovision. And I think there's a lot of great ones here. If I were to compare it to the selection from Ukraine, I don't think I can. I think Ukraine maybe had more standout songs in their selection, like percent-wise. But yeah, the strong ones in this selection are really, really strong. I'd love for them to send either Evita or Duje, or maybe even Aroma Jote. And then I'm getting more skeptical the more I think about some, like I really want one of these three. I think I really want one of these two, actually. But yeah, that's me. What about you? What song would you like to see them send? Do tell me in the comments. Looking forward to seeing you in whatever video comes next. I haven't planned anything, but nice talking to you. Hope to see you soon again. Bye bye.